Hello, thank you so much for joining me today. I am starting this YouTube channel because I want to get back into some of the activities that I used to do with my husband before his death. One was that we would go for long walks and we would get outdoors and enjoy nature, and I just haven't done that a lot. It has been difficult to get out of the house and do those things by myself, and I think by starting this I can kind of force myself to do that, get a little bit better shape, and just talk a little bit each day about loss, things that have worked for me, things that have not worked for me, and I'm just embarking on this grief work journey, and I would love for my journey to help you and for your journey to help me. So let's get started on a walk. Today is just going to be a short walk. I'm not in the best of shape, but it feels good to be out in early spring. I'm just going to start walking a little bit on this trail. We're close to a river, and I didn't see any other cars here, so I don't think we'll come across any other people. But if we do, we will greet them and try not to film them. So I have lost some family members and friends over the years. I lost a very good friend to breast cancer. I lost my mother to lung cancer, and her death was especially difficult for my dad. So after her passing, I really focused on his grieving process more than my own. He had some serious health conditions, and he ended up passing away 5 years after her. He had a congenital heart condition and had passed away from a blood clot that formed inside a machine that was assisting his heart. And then during that time I lost both my grandparents as well. They were older, and not that I wasn't sad for their passing, but it seems easier for me anyway to accept a passing when someone got the opportunity to live a full life. I lost my husband about 6 years ago, very unexpectedly, and I'm just starting to get my footing. It's taken a while, but I would just like to know in the comments who you've lost, and maybe what are the top 3 suggestions you would have for someone in those initial weeks and months after a death, and then what has helped you during the anniversary dates of the passing, getting through those dates. I just made it through an anniversary of my husband's passing, and the last, I would say, 2 or 3 years, I've commemorated the day with positive acts of kindness. He was a very generous person, so I anonymously did some acts of kindness for people, and just to honor his memory. But yes, I'd like to know what 3 things were helpful to you, because when I recall what it was like when I got the phone call from law enforcement of my husband's passing, I just remember the shock. I remember I was out of town trying to pack a bag, get my things together to get home, and the chaos and the inability to think clearly. And thankfully I had an amazing support of friends, and his sister flew in to help me. But you know, the busyness and the chaos of those initial few days is all a blur. I really don't remember many of the details. It's almost like I have little snapshots of that time, because your body just, and your brain kind of just shuts down. I feel like that time is more just an acute pain, disbelief, shock, like I said, and I think the planning of the funeral and the hosting of people coming in from out of town and being surrounded by so many people is exactly what I needed in that moment. And then when all of that quiets, I really didn't know what to do with myself. I had actually started a program for my job. It was a course, and instead of withdrawing from the course, I did the course, and it gave me something to focus on and to do during those quiet nights, because I was just not used to it being so quiet. And miraculously, I was able to retain the information and pass that exam and advance in my career a little bit. But it was definitely, I know that a lot of people will say, oh, you shouldn't busy yourself, it delays your grief. I think my brain needed a delay. I definitely gave myself moments to feel it, but I also really pulled myself together and really performed well, because I just wasn't ready to fully face that sadness and that loss. After things slowed down a little bit, I'm going to go peek at the water here. I realized that I needed to start really getting a handle on my grief. I'm just on a little county park, and here's some water that's really nice and peaceful. Look up this way. Yeah, it's so pretty. Being outdoors is very soothing to me. But what I was saying, after that busyness of that coursework, I decided I needed to focus on my grief. So I was in a small town. My husband and I had planned to move to this town. He passed away before the move. And so I was in this new town with a new job, and I didn't know a lot of people. So I reached out and found out that there was not a grief support group in my area. So instead of not pursuing that, I decided to create the community that I craved. And me and another lady in town started a grief support group, and we just researched information and put a little packet together, and we met each week, and pretty soon we had a nice group established, and it was mostly women, and we had one gentleman, and this gentleman happened to be a woodworker, So he would make us birdhouses and different things that we could paint. And we would sit on my friend's back porch and paint and talk about our lives and our loved ones. And it was an amazing experience. We went out to eat together. We went kayaking. We just, created a little family of friends. And that was an immense help to me. It helped me feel not alone. It helped me know that my feelings were normal. Also that the things that I was feeling or I guess the timeline of my feelings were appropriate, because you just don't know, especially for me, because I did kind of delay fully feeling it for a while, but I think each person has to kind of listen to their body. They have to reach out to others, and they have to do what feels best for them. So I made a lot of progress with that group, and when I think back, I had asked you 3 things that helped you the most. I would say the things that helped me the most were, 1, keeping my mind busy in the beginning. I guess this would depend on what type of loss you experienced. I don't know what it would be like having a long chronic illness where I was caregiving for a long time, where the passing wouldn't be just an abrupt shock. I don't know if my brain could have handled grieving differently in that situation, but for me in that moment, keeping busy helped me for a short time. I agree you shouldn't do that long term, but like I said, I feel like I needed to be gentle with myself. And then number 2 is reaching out to other people. If there's not a group in your area, start one. I met some amazing people, and I'm so grateful for their friendship. And I would say the 3rd thing is try to not compare yourself. I would say that would be the next big thing. Anytime you compare yourself to someone else, you're comparing your insides to someone else's outsides, because you can't possibly know anything that's going on inside of them. You've not walked in their shoes. You don't have their life experiences. You don't know. You just don't know their life experience, and to try to compare yourself to anyone other than yourself is just kind of unfair. It's unfair to yourself, and honestly, you wouldn't compare your best friend to someone else and criticize them. So I just feel like the best self-love you could give yourself is to only focus on who you are today compared to who you were, and then work towards who you want to be. And be gentle with yourself. I guess I named 4. But yeah, there's just grief is a life alteration. It is something that never goes away, because grief is love. It's love with nowhere to go. And if you are expected to get over a loss, that would be like saying that you don't love that person anymore. I feel like I will always grieve my parents and my husband. I will always be close to tears recalling certain memories. But I also know that acute grief in those first weeks and months compared to where I am now is very different. I'm able to recall the good memories and laugh and be joyful when I think of them. Like I said, I'm always close to tears for certain memories of them, but I don't cry every day anymore for them. And I think one of the greatest ways to keep their memory alive and to keep them close is to talk about them and to do things in honor of them. That has been one of the biggest blessings for me with my husband's passing, is to be able to do things in his honor. So anytime there's a fundraiser for a brick to be laid in honor of someone, or he felt strongly about recovery programs and homelessness programs, and so I try to give resources to those charities when I can in honor of him. I also adopted a foster son. I became a mother again, and I've had my little guy for almost a year. His gotcha day anniversary for his adoption will be in just another week, and he's amazing. And so I try to give to charities to help children as well. But today I can say that I'm happy with my life. I feel contented. I feel like I have a lot of life left. I have a lot to offer, and it's just been heavy in my mind and heart to help people who are in those early times after a loss, and people who have trouble moving to a place of acceptance and a place where they can feel joy again. And that's what I hope to do with these walks. Get some of my feelings out and then get feedback from you. And I hope you have a beautiful day and get out and enjoy the sunshine. Even if it's for 5 minutes, just sitting outside with a cup of hot tea or coffee when you're feeling a little down really will help. And I have my first walk in the books by myself, so hopefully this is the start of a beautiful habit, and I will be healthier, so I have more to offer my little guy, and it's just a form of self-love. So have a great day, and I'll talk to you again soon.